Welcome to Testify. Today we conclude the book of Acts. Please don't forget to catch Acts chapters 1 to 12 on our channel, Testify. Acts chapters 13 to 20. Mission to Israel and clashes with Roman culture. Paul and various co-workers travel around the Roman Empire to announce the good news that Jesus is king. The first journey starts in the interior of Asia Minor, and ends with an important meeting of the apostles back in Jerusalem. The second trip is through Asia Minor and into ancient Greece, and the third trip goes through the same territory once again, concluding with Paul's journey back to Jerusalem. Many Jewish people come to recognize Jesus as their Messiah. Others, however, oppose Paul and sometimes even run him out of town as a dangerous rebel who opposes the Torah and Jewish tradition. This tension culminates after the first journey and leads to an important council in Jerusalem. Paul discovers that there are some Jewish followers of Jesus in Antioch, claiming that unless non-Jewish people become Jewish by practicing circumcision, the Sabbath, and obeying kosher food laws, they cannot be a part of Jesus' redeemed people. Paul and Barnabas radically disagree with this claim, so they take the debate to a leadership council in Jerusalem. There, Peter, Paul, and James, the brother of Jesus, discuss and discern from the scriptures and from their experience that God's plan was always to include the nations within his covenant people. While they request non-Jewish Christians to stop participating in pagan temple sacrifices, they don't require them to observe the laws of the Torah. Multiple stories show Romans accusing Paul and the Christians of rebellion and treason against Caesar. But every time Paul is arrested and interrogated by Roman officials, they can't see any threat, and they end up releasing him. Men and women, rich and poor, slave and free were all treated as equals because they all gave their allegiance to King Jesus alone. Acts chapter 21 to 28. Paul arrested in Jerusalem and imprisoned in Rome. The final chapters 21 to 28 returns the focus to Paul's witness spreading from Jerusalem to Rome. His final missionary journey ends in Jerusalem. Paul is attacked by Jewish people who think that he has betrayed Israel, attracting the attention of Roman soldiers. These soldiers in turn think that Paul is a terrorist from Egypt who is starting a rebellion, so they arrest him. Paul is put on trial before the Jewish leaders of the Sanhedrin in Jerusalem, as well as before a series of Roman leaders in Caesarea. Governor Felix only puts Paul off for the next governor, Festus, who eventually brings Paul before King Agrippa. Paul ends up in prison for years, even though each trial fails to declare him guilty. At this point, the Roman legal system can't just let him go, so Paul appeals to Rome's highest court. The prison time allows Paul to write his most important apostolic letters to the Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, Philemon, and these become the way his missionary legacy was carried on into history. Eventually, Paul was transferred as a prisoner to Rome and, after a terrifying and near-death voyage across the Mediterranean, he ends up under house arrest in Rome, awaiting his delayed trial. At Malta he experiences a snake bite which he survives and shocks the inhabitants. Paul continues to praise Jesus right under the rule of Caesar.